Now, I want y'all to take a good look at what this says. You see that? It is what it is. We did not harp on it. We didn't make a big deal about it. And we don't plan on it because we're not out for revenge. This is what the state attorney or the lawyer said about the state attorney's decision. In other words, we're just going to throw it out. We're going to look the other way. Yeah, we know that she should go to prison. We know that she's guilty, that she did, in fact, endanger the child. But we're going to throw it out. Why? Because her brother, her son, are police officers. That is exactly what happened. This case stinks. And it has been bothering me for about a day. I read this yesterday again. Of course, I read it back when it actually happened. I reported on it. But time passed and I forgot the details. I forgot the story in general. May not have even followed up on it. Forgot all about it. But this is one of the worst cases I've ever covered. This is so criminal. Now, I said in the previous stream, no criminal charges for this woman. Baby was killed, 7-month-old baby. Khloe Williams killed by a dog. After the dog attacked the baby, she called her husband and her son rather than 911. A dog mauled a 7-month-old baby. And it didn't pop into her mind that the baby needs a doctor. She didn't think that the baby needs to be in a hospital right now. Instead, she called her son and her husband, who are police officers. Why? Because she thought they would be better equipped to deal with the situation. That is what she said. They've already said that this is the law. There has to be a willful, wanton disregard for life to be charged with reckless endangerment. I've gone over these laws before. She called her husband and her son. Child died from asphyxiation. She was mauled. The dog had her by the throat. So the same agency that investigated the dog attack is the same agency that her son and husband worked for, the Clearwater Police Department. So, of course, they would have reservations about locking her up. They're not going to arrest and prosecute and lock her up. Her husband and her son work for the police department. Do y'all see how people can get away with cold-blooded murder? Even according to our own laws, reckless endangerment laws, they even sidestepped the reckless endangerment laws in this case. Baby was at this house. The baby started crying. So the babysitter prepared a bottle. The dog, they say, is a retriever hound mix. You look at it, it looks like a bully breed. The dog started barking. Okay, the dog was inside of its kennel. and it started barking. So the grandmother opened the kennel to let the dog out. And according to this article, the dog went straight for the baby. You see that? I hope that's big enough where y'all can read. Said instead, the dog went straight for Khloe. The dog went straight for Khloe, people. The same way that dog went straight after that baby that I showed in that video. These dogs, when they attack babies, they dart straight for them. The same way they do to a bowl of food. They just run, charge straight at the babies. Okay, if you haven't seen the video that I'm referring to, I will show it after I go over this. Baby was sitting unstrapped in a car seat. They got the dog off of the baby, put the dog outside. They said that the decision to open the kennel was an incredibly poor decision. Now, people, how can they say that it was an incredibly poor decision when they know full well that they would accept, embrace, they would give a like to and a positive comment to images and videos of kids around dogs, babies around dogs. They would support the dog licking the baby, taking a picture with the baby, being alone with the baby. So how can you now, after the attack, say that allowing the dog around the baby was a poor decision? This sounds like they are caught up in between what they know is right and laws. If it was an incredibly poor decision to let the dog out, then it's a poor decision to have all the rest of these dogs inside of homes where children and babies are present. These same crimes are going. This is a horrible, horrible case, people. Look, but family members said the dog was loving, so there was no reason to believe that it would become vicious. Yet again, this is what they say every time. Dogs have attacked enough times at this point where we can safely say that you can't trust the dog's history. Even if it has no violence or aggression in its history, that's not enough. It's not reliable. We have thousands of cases to prove that. We're at the point where we need to say, look, no dogs. Oh man, this is infuriating. The dog was loving. And you know what happened? They brought that dog around the baby. That's why it's such a mystery as to what happened exactly. The delay in calling 911 gave prosecutors pause. She said in an interview that she did not initially realize the extent of the child's injuries. Do y'all believe that? Do y'all believe that she didn't realize that the baby was seriously injured? That it was life-threatening injuries? That's what she said. She called her son and her husband and asked them to come home immediately. People, she did this to protect the dog. She knew if she called 911 that authorities would show up and confiscate the dog. She is thinking, I don't want the dog to get euthanized. Because why else would she do that? As this article points out, not only did she not call 911, not only did she call her husband and son instead, but she sat there and waited for them to come home. And she could have called 911 while she waited. Do y'all really think 911, do y'all really think a doctor assistants, a hospital didn't run through her mind? Am I supposed to believe that? That it was just lost, that she never thought that the baby belongs in a hospital? You think a baby with holes in her head? And look, by the time they got there, the baby was not only dead, the baby was cold. The baby was cold by the time authorities arrived. You're not going to tell me that that baby wasn't blatantly, overtly in danger of dying. There's no way she did not know that. The prosecutors said that she minimized the child's injuries when she called the family members asking for help rather than calling police. No, they're saying that she minimized the child's injuries when she called her husband and her son. In other words, she just said, oh, it's not that bad. Am I really supposed to believe that? A dog attack, and you know this dog shook this baby? This so bad, the baby died really within minutes. You telling me some harmless looking puncture wounds was inflicted where she didn't think it was that bad? So she minimized. No, she didn't minimize the injuries. She called them because she knew it was fatal. She was trying to protect that worthless mutt. The child had grown cool and quiet in her arms. Wife performed CPR while they waited for help. Paramedics arrived 8 minutes later. And the detectives told prosecutors that they had probable cause to arrest her on child neglect charges because she failed to call 911 while she waited for her son to arrive. Obviously, people, obviously. It's like, woman, what are you doing? Why didn't you call 911 first? And if you call your son and your husband, why didn't you hang up with them and then call 911? What are you thinking? They trying to put it as if it was just a brain fart. Look at what it says. There are a lot of things that anybody would do differently with the knowledge they had in the future. This is what they wrote. This is a quote, direct quote. Are you serious? So I'm just supposed to believe that hospital, a doctor, just never ran through her head? I don't think so. And they brought up the fact that the investigation was impartial. See that? Lawyer raised questions about the investigation being impartial because the woman has family in the police department. The Clearwater Police Department investigated this case. That's the same police department that her husband and son work for. So the lawyer is saying this investigation was partial. So they actually called for the Florida Department of Law Enforcement to step in instead. And those detectives, they refused. The lawyer for the birth mother refused. He said he doesn't plan to challenge the decision. He said, quote, "It is what it is. We didn't harp on it. We didn't make a big deal about it. And we don't plan on it because we're not out for revenge." When I tell you, this case infuriated me last night. Wow. Wow, people. Wow. She got off scot-free. Blood sacrifice. Knowingly put that baby in danger. She knew full well that a dog attack was possible. These people know that dogs have long, sharp teeth. They know that dogs are predators, that they can kill, and they take the chance anyways. And when the child is killed or mutilated, they get off scot-free. Unbelievable. Now, the story here that I'm talking about is here. And I'm going to play it again.
For the first time tonight, we're hearing from the attorney who's now representing the mother of a 7-month-old who was killed in a dog attack. Khloe Williams died after being bitten by a dog while in the care of her foster family. Fox 13's Jordan Bowen spoke with the attorney in an interview you're seeing only on Fox 13. Jordan.
Yeah, Lloyd, just days after the attack, it's still unclear how the dog got a hold of the little girl and who witnessed it. Since Friday, we've been pressing Clearwater Police for answers, but they've declined all of our requests for an on-camera interview. So Mother Siobhan Grossman is now hiring an attorney to get some of her questions answered. This grieving mother still in the dark.
So as you heard, before this case was thrown out, the reporters, the media, they did not know the details of the attack. You just heard what he said. He said it's unclear how the baby got a hold of the, how the dog got a hold of the baby. And now we just learned, according to her, they're saying that the dog was in the kennel barking. Grandmother opened the kennel and the dog went straight after the baby, which might not be true. Because we all know how these people love to expose babies and kids to dogs as part of their ritual. It's part of their culture. It's part of their tradition. They all do it. They all do it. And they can't wait to do it. They love to do it. They get off on it. Allowing the dog around the baby.
Over what led this mixed-breed dog to fatally attack her 7-month-old baby girl, Khloe Williams.
She's not old enough to crawl. She wasn't old enough to walk. I don't understand. I don't. I just want answers for this.
What? She doesn't understand. What don't you understand? You let a predator inside the home and it attacked the baby. What are you confused about? That means whoever let that thing inside the home is at fault and needs to go to prison. Is there some type of unsolved mystery here that I don't know about, that I'm missing? What you confused about, woman? These are people who should be locked up, who committed murder, who are guilty of reckless endangerment getting off scot-free.
She wasn't old enough to walk. I don't understand. I just want answers for this.
What went wrong in this case?
Well, that's what we're trying to get out here. Those are the questions that we're trying to answer. There's so many unanswered questions in this case.
What are they talking about? Oh, it's such a mystery. There are so many unanswered questions. We're trying to get to the bottom of it. And you mean that after all this, you're saying that this story was as simple as the baby was crying, she went to make a bottle, the dog was barking, she opened the kennel, and the dog went straight. That's something you could have told the police right there on the spot. You contemplated and came out with that story? It's hard for me to believe that now. It's because they conjured it up. I suspect. Let me say that. Let me say I suspect they conjured it up. And let me also say this is all my opinion. This is what I believe. Okay? For legal reasons. This is my personal belief. Because this does not sound right.
Case. Khloe's foster father was Clearwater Police Detective Jonathan Macer, seen here in a photo from Clearwater Police Department's Facebook page. At the time of the attack, Macer's parents were babysitting Khloe at their home in Clearwater when their dog attacked the little girl around 2 o'clock Friday afternoon.
We're here to ensure that the mother's rights aren't infringed upon any more than they already have been. We're here to ensure that nothing like this ever happens again to another child.
According to information obtained from Eckerd Connects, the dog was never evaluated for its temperament, and the home was never inspected to determine if it was safe for the child. That's because neither are required by law. Instead, Florida only requires the screening of the foster family's home and pets, not relatives' pets. We asked Eckerd Connects for the list of questions they typically ask foster families when evaluating the behavior and temperament of their pet. But they were...
Oh my goodness. My goodness. Right? We all know those stupid temperament tests don't work. And what do you mean you need to test the home? The home was not inspected. What are you talking about? Is there a special type of home that you need to keep a child, a baby, safe from a dog? There's no way. What type of home? Inspect it for what? You should inspect it to make sure there's no dog inside of it. They're trying to tell us that there are regulations that can keep a child or baby safe from a dog that's off leash inside the home. What is this? Nonsense. Dog wasn't evaluated. This is all nonsense. Who cares? Didn't have a temperament test. These people got away with cold-blooded murder.
Relatives' pets. We asked Eckerd Connects for the list of questions they typically ask foster families when evaluating the behavior and temperament of their pet, but they refused to provide us with those questions.
Is that you?
Before the attack, Siobhan Grossman describes having a friendly relationship with the foster family, regularly exchanging photos and receiving updates on little Khloe. But since the attack, she says the foster family hasn't reached out to her to explain what happened.
We're just searching for justice for Khloe, and we're going to get it.
And we've made attempts to get in touch with Detective Macer and the foster family, but have not heard back. Currently, the child abuse investigation by the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office and the criminal investigation by Clearwater Police Department are still ongoing. Lloyd?
Fox 15.
Wow. Scary stuff. Very scary stuff. But as I said, we all know what happened. That dog went right after that baby, just like this dog went right after this baby. That's how dogs go after babies. Why is it that this thing could not wait? Why is it just itching and dying to get to this baby? Because they view the baby as prey. Oh my God. Oh my God. Like I said, these are not humans. These are not fully developed human beings. Fully developed human beings don't behave like dogs. They don't behave like wild, filthy animals. You let a dog in this is behaving like, and you're treating the baby like a dog. Then when the dog attacks the baby, they want to say the baby was their angel. Notice how she says that's enough kisses. Why she do that? It's because that mutt is sniffing this baby the same way it sniffs a bowl of food. And it was getting very close to taking a bite out of the baby. Why do you think he's partially restraining the dog? Because he knows that's dangerous. He knows what he's doing is dangerous. They know that they're gambling with the baby's life. They know full well the dog could maul the baby. They're taking the chance anyways because these are not fully developed humans. These are primitive. All dog nuts. Every last one of you. Primitive, subhuman. Disgusting. Now, as always, she's going to make this dog the center of attention. Just like that other woman did on that video that I shared in the community section. Then she kisses that mutt. These people are not fully human. These people are like, they're closer to the animal kingdom. They're closer to the animal kingdom. And this type of animalish dog behavior, living like an animal, behaving like an animal, this should be enough for these people to be cast out of society. They don't deserve to live amongst civilized people. They don't. It is disgusting to look at nasty, primitive caveman behavior right before my eyes. That thing has no business inside of that home. No business. She up here having foreplay with this dog. Because you see, the only way for these people to truly appreciate the presence of their babies, the only way for them to fully appreciate the presence of their kids is if there's a dog next to the baby or next to the kid. The dog has to be involved. Look at how they're both pushing the dog away. Why do you think they're doing that? Because they know that dog is very close to biting. They know that that behavior that it's displaying, that obsessive sniffing and it's licking its lips, they know what that is. And they're both pushing it away. You're not going to tell me these people are oblivious to the possibility this baby can get mauled. And that is what these people are saying every time they let these lunatics off and don't charge them. They want us to believe that, oh, there was no reason for them to believe that this could happen. They always know. They're always aware that it can happen. Like I said, this don't even warrant a discussion. They even say when dogs lick their lip, this thing, they're ready to attack. Isn't that what they say? Lip licking is a sign that a dog may bite. That's what the veterinarians say, behaviorists say. And you telling me that this is not endangerment? When you see the signs, this thing charging the baby like a plate of food, and this nasty pig kisses this mutt.
Is your baby sissy?
Your baby sissy. Again, these are not fully developed human beings. They are closer to the animal kingdom. That's why they behave like animals. And that's why they treat their babies, newborn babies, like animals. It takes a primitive, subhuman, underdeveloped, primitive piece of trash, an animal. It takes an animal-like entity to treat your baby like an animal. If you let a dog near your baby, lick your baby, smell your baby, you're treating your baby like a dog. And you're not fully human if you do that. I don't care what you say. Unbelievable. Y'all go subscribe to Pit Bull Awareness on YouTube. I don't know what has happened to them, but they have awakened. They are awakened. Someone has disturbed them. And boy, oh boy, the fire is coming. And it's steady. Big shout out to them. Big shout out to everybody who leave comments in the comment section to these videos. Give your input. A lot of people from this channel in the comment section. Big shout out to all of you. Ban All Dogs, Chihuahua Box, in here, Jonathan Payne. Big shout out to the Crusaders. We're going to get comments on these videos, get the algorithm going, get the viral videos going on this filth. Now listen to what he says here.
Kane is very, very concerned with every single noise that the baby makes.
They said the dog is concerned with every single noise that the baby makes. No, this thing is behaving like it's looking at food. Is it not? Isn't this the exact same way that those 3 dogs were behaving with that girl who was sitting there with food right here? It's the video I shared in the community section. She's sitting there with a bowl of food, and look at how these dogs are sitting there. The same way that pit bull looking at the baby. She got food here in this plate. And that's exactly how this mutt is sitting here. Because it's looking at something that it wants to eat. And they want to try to sell us this idea or suggestion that this is love that we're looking at. Boy, man, dog lovers, these dog nuts, they don't belong around me. They don't belong in my presence. I'm so the opposite of these lunatics. Can you imagine somebody babysitting for you You look on a video and you see something like this. Listen to this.
With every single noise that the baby makes.
With every single noise, because the veterinarian said that the noises newborns make reminds predators of prey, injured prey.
With every single noise that she makes, he wants to like check it out. She's alright, Kate.
This is what happens. This is what happens in these homes. These psychotic, primitive dog nut. They do stuff like this inside of their homes. They behave like animals. No civilized human being. No civilized human being does this. I mean that. These people are uncivilized. Uncivilized. These people need to be civilized. This is almost on the same level as walking on all fours. As being that primitive, as walking on all fours, and rather than using language, using grunts. You dog nuts need a mirror put in front of you. This is horrible.
You can't paw her, Bob. Oh, she made a noise.
It's Mutt constantly sniffing this. This is terrible. Why do you think that dog is so obsessed with the baby? Two dogs. Again, they can't even spend time alone with their newborn. They have to have the dogs around as well. Because they really don't love their newborn. They don't love their kids. They can only pretend to love their kids when the dog is around. When all they're really doing is diverting their attention away from their child or baby to the dog. But at least they're being social. They talk about that, don't they? Dogs help you be social. They act like brain dead mutants themselves. Oh, sorry about that. Those dogs know full well that she is handling a harmless, helpless entity, baby. And that's why they're so obsessed. You really got to be out of your mind. Oh my God. These disgusting people. And can you imagine? Keep in mind, they get off on having intercourse with these things. You know, if you disagree with me saying that these people are primitive, disgusting subhumans, you have to at least admit that that's the case with those who have intercourse with these things. And there's a lot more of them that have intercourse with them than you think. Look at this. Now, are they not treating this baby like a dog? How much more can you treat a baby like a dog than to lay a baby down and let a bunch of dogs surround her, start licking her, and sniffing all over her? That's the best possible way you can treat a baby like a dog, is it not? What more could you do? And you have to be subhuman, a primitive, disgusting, subhuman beast yourself to treat your baby like that. This is unbelievable and disgusting. Look at that. Are you crazy? What more could you do if you want to treat your baby like a dog than to give your baby over to the dogs?
Now click it again because it's...
Are you giving her a nighttime bath? What's he
Disgusting.
doing, Ellie?
This is how the attacks happen. They're doing stuff like this. And then when there's an attack, they don't want to admit that they were in there doing stuff like this. So they say, I went to make a bottle. I just stepped away for a brief moment. Don't get me wrong. Many of them do. I firmly believe many of them actually do step away. Leave the baby alone with the dog. We've seen them do it. But some of them don't. I explained in a video in the members area. I don't want to play it here because, you know, that's risky. But I highlighted the child neglect in this video. I want y'all to watch this video. Again, I shared it in the community section, where this dog nut had not seen her daughter all day. And as soon as her daughter gets in the van, coming home from daycare, the first thing this woman does is tell the baby girl, the dogs missed you. You believe that? Girl hadn't seen her mother all day. Get her in the car and she says, the dogs missed you.
I can hear them.
Listen.
Woof.
Listen.
I can hear them. Woof. Woof.
She get her daughter in the car and start talking about the dogs. These people don't even know how to interact with their children without including the dog. And I'm dead serious about that. Just like this woman. This is how her daughter comes home from daycare. She has her daughter walking up to a bunch of dogs. She's allowing her daughter to be licked on by food-obsessed dogs. To be surrounded by dogs. This dog nut couldn't wait to get her daughter home so that she could shove a bunch of dogs in her face. This child, having more sense than her own mother, because she's still new into this world, hasn't been fully indoctrinated and brainwashed yet, this baby starts to reject the presence of the dogs. Telling the dogs no, to get away, pushing the dogs away, because they're constantly in her face, sniffing her. But this baby girl asks her mother to play with a puzzle with her. Mommy, let's play with the puzzle together. The mother does not play with the puzzle with her. Instead, she keeps talking about the dogs, giving the dogs attention. Oh, look at the dog. Look at Bobby. Oh, the dog wants your apple. The dog. And this baby girl is turned off by it. Because the dog bit her apple, her mother brought her a plate of fruit. And she sat her daughter on a sofa with that food all by herself. and left her there so that the dogs could surround her. I'm dead serious. When these people, the only way they can relate to their kids, the only way they can appreciate their kids is if a dog is next to them. The only way they can appreciate their babies, their newborns, is if a dog is next to them. That's when they hit the record button. That's when they start taking photos. That's when they show appreciation for their child's presence. If the dog's not around, they don't behave like this. What is that? Child neglect. That's abuse. The child will eventually catch on to the fact that if the dog's not around, my mother, my father's not interested in me. These dogs sitting here staring at this girl eating her food, the same way that pit bull was sitting there staring at the baby. So this woman has left her child on the sofa by herself, surrounded by dogs. Now, she has already left her daughter alone with those dogs once. She left her daughter alone with those dogs to make that plate of food. You watch the video, you will see it. She left her daughter alone with the dogs. Now, the mother stands up. Listen to this. She said, "Mama, come back." She told her mother to come back. Okay, we got a stupid commercial about to start here. Y'all see that? She said, the mother started, she stood up. And the daughter, she immediately disagreed with her. She thought she was about to leave again. And this baby immediately showed discomfort with her leaving again. And she up here constantly making the dogs the center of attention, non-stop.
I'm sitting here, I'm gonna sit here. Like this.
You see that? She told her mother, sit next to me, sit by me. See, her mother sit there, then the dogs have to move away. She's like, I haven't seen you all day. Come sit next to me. And does the mother sit next to her? No.
Sit there.
Look at her pushing the dogs away. Mom, come here. Sit next to me. The dogs getting in her face. She pushing the dogs away. Y'all telling me this is not child neglect? Y'all telling me this is not child abuse? Who wants to make that argument? It's still open to behaviorists, psychologists, whoever might be following this channel. This is child abuse. This happens in all of their homes. This child is not feeling these dogs. She's not behaving obsessed with these dogs. She pushing the cat away.
Nico?
She's trying to move the cat. She didn't move. The cat basically has its butt in her food.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit here. Like this.
This is terrible.
Sit there.
She clearly, Mama, sit here. Because Mom is acting weird. Surrounding me with dogs. I haven't seen her all day. This is horrible. Look at the cat got its butt in her food. She pushing this dog out her face. The cat got his butt right in her food. And she pushes the cat away. And her mother says, no, the cat can stay there. The cat can sit there. Forcing this baby to live like an animal.
Nico? Mila can sit there, Mia.
And wow. She said the cat can sit there. This child knows this is inappropriate. She is expressing discontent for this environment. And this woman insists on making her stay in it. So this girl asks her to sit next to her.
Well, he is the worst to see.
And she never sits next to her daughter. All this woman is doing is sitting here talking about these dogs. This video is crazy. It's crazy. The neglect is insane. This woman constantly makes the dogs the center of attention nonstop. And again, those dogs are looking at that girl the same way that pit bull was looking at that baby. Now, look at this. Watch this.
There, Mummy, get Gruffalo. No.
She's saying no to these dogs before they even do anything. Does she behave like she's obsessed and in love with these dogs? Like she appreciate their presence? She wants them to go away.
Why are you saying no? Are they being naughty?
And the mother says, why are you saying no? Are they being naughty? Why are you telling the dogs no? Have they done something to you? This is some psycho stuff, man. This is psycho stuff. So the daughter pulls out this book. Daughter pulls out this book.
Amelia, what do you say? You're welcome, Amelia. Shall I read it?
Yeah.
Okay. Where's he going? Peekaboo.
Hello, Buffalo.
Hello, Gruffalo.
So cold.
That's the Gruffalo's back.
Mama, read it.
Now, this little girl just asked her mother to read this book to her. So she's already asked her mother to sit next to her. She didn't sit next to her. Now she asked her mother, don't this sound like a child that hasn't seen her mother all day? A child who's been in daycare all day? Missed her mother. She asked her mother to read to her. What does her mother do? Her mother starts playing with the dogs. I kid you not. She sticks her hand in that book and she starts playing with the dogs. And she wants to play with each dog. What she is doing is making it clear that she loves the dogs more. That she finds the dogs more interesting. That she has a better time when the dogs are there. That's the abuse part of it. And this goes on in all of their homes. All of their homes. Look how long she's playing with these dogs. Just constantly playing and gawking over these dogs. This is what goes on inside of their home.
Mama.
Mama.
Oh, that's Mama, is it?
Go.
Now, like I pointed out in the members area, y'all see how she walked right past those dogs? This woman is up here gawking over these dogs. And this girl is ignoring the dogs. And if she shows the dogs attention, all she's doing is pushing them away. So this is not good footage. So what does the mother do? The mother has an idea.
Go.
Thank you.
You see how the video cut? Because the mother was like, oh, cut, cut. You're showing me too much attention, daughter. You're showing me too much attention. I'm not interested in you if you are not with the dog. So why don't you sit on the floor with the dog and face the dog?
Cute.
That's why it cut right there and went straight to this. Because the mother orchestrated the arrangement of where the dog is and the child. Because this is what she wants. And this is the type of nuttery that goes on in all of these dog nutters' homes. This is the type of abuse and neglect. Neglect and really psychopathic, cold-hearted abuse. Making it clear to their kids, the dog is more important. The dog is more fun. The dog is more interesting. And the only time that you're fun and interesting is when you are with the dog. Without the dog, these people are nasty to their kids, mean, abusive. That's when they're overtly abusive to their kids. And that sick cycle repeats itself to the point where the kids grow up to be dog nuts. Because they realize the only time mommy or daddy is nice to me or fun with me is when the dog is around. In other words, when the dog is around, that's when I'm happy. Because only then is my parents nice to me, having fun with me, wanting to interact with me. Only when the dog's around. So I'm going to grow up and I'm going to get a dog too and repeat the same sick cycle with their own children. Unbelievable nuttery right here. So that is what happened. This is what happens in those homes. This is what happened in that case with Khloe. I hope they reopen that case because there was a crime committed. And I hope future criminals in the near future start to pay the price, get sent to prison, get charged, to the point where it scares these people away from owning dogs. I hope, even if it's step by step, one step at a time, that we get closer to a dog-free world. So I just had to scream on that. I had to get this off my chest. Very infuriating case. I hope y'all check it out. Leave your thoughts on the case. Maybe some things that I missed. Crazy stuff. These people are not going to snap out of it, no matter how much sense we talk. So the best thing we can do is just strengthen each other's mind and understanding. And hope that as many of our youth catch on to this truth as possible as we continue this crusade against these worthless mutants and their enabling owners.